Hi, my name is Lauren Linscott Green. I'm a librarian with the Pierce County Library System, and I'm part of our early learning math team. And I'm so excited to be talking to you about how math is persistence, because it absolutely is. And it might not be the very first skill that you think of when you think of math, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why it's so important when we're working with young children. So, did you grow up thinking that math was about getting the right answer? Did you feel stupid or stop trying when you didn't get the answer right away? These are really common math attitudes, and they begin forming in early childhood. For us to raise future mathematicians and people that can balance their checkbooks and raise their own children to not be scared of math, we need to build up their personal store of perseverance and teach them that math is all about problem solving and that problem solving can be fun. So we all know from experience that we learn more from getting an answer wrong than when we get an answer right, but we do have a tendency to praise when somebody does something well and not praise the process that might be hard and might be a failure. But that process is something that we really need to focus on. And we know that when a problem comes with a little bit of struggle, the joy of finding the answer is going to be huge. And kids need to find their own answers. They need to learn on their own terms, and exploration of process is an important part of finding the right answer. So, we want to let kids fail, but encourage them to try again and ask questions that help them get to think in new ways. So you're probably asking all of these questions in your practice already. Like, what do you think just happened? What do you think we could change to make something work? I wonder what would happen if. These are all good ways to work through process with children. You can also acknowledge their frustration and think about that process and encourage them for pushing through. For example, something like, wow, that's really frustrating. I'm so proud of you for trying so hard. That is real perseverance, or that's real persistence. By naming the virtue of perseverance, you're telling them what it is that they're doing well. Another thing that you could say, keep trying, and you kept trying, and that makes you a real problem solver. Another way to name the virtue. So you can do this in simple ways all day long. If a child puts on their jacket successfully, you can say, I can tell you really tried your best, rather than saying, you're really good at putting your jacket on. When you're sharing books, you can look for characters that are showing problem solving skills and perseverance and point that out to the children. Some books do this in very obvious manners, like Rosie Revere, Engineer. In Rosie Revere, small child, Rosie Revere, who dreams of being a great engineer. But she has an aunt who comes and visits, who she loves so much, and she wants to make something for her. So she makes her a cheese copter, I think is what it is. Let's see here. But it fails. And Rosie is pretty downhearted about this. But her aunt says, your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. So this book is nice for talking very specifically about perseverance and problem solving and tying that to math and engineering. There are other books that don't have any kind of engineering or math tie-in, but teach the skill of perseverance in a pretty direct manner, like Brave Irene, all about a dressmaker's daughter who fights through a snowstorm to make it to the Duchess. And this book has wonderful language and wonderful problem solving moments. For example, Irene at one point is stuck in a snowstorm and all she has is this box. And she needs to get down a hill. How to get down to that glittering palace. As soon as she raised the question, she had the answer. She laid the box down and climbed aboard, but it pressed into the snow and stuck. She tried again, and this time, instead of climbing on, she leaped. The box shot forward like a sled. So in a moment like this, you can stop, pause, and talk to the children about what she did there. She tried something, but it didn't work, and she did something else. There's also a little bit of physics mixed in there, which is fun and something to explore. So that's a great one. Other books, like One Day in the Eucalyptus Tree, seem just like silly books, but there's really an opportunity to talk about math and perseverance in this book. So in One Day in the Eucalyptus Tree, one day in the leaves of the eucalyptus tree hung a scare in the air where no eye could see. When along skipped a boy with a whirly-twirly toy to the shade of the eucalyptus tree. And, of course, he gets gobbled up. There he is. And now he's inside the belly of the snake. So instead of panicking, he says, "I'll bet," said the boy in the belly dark and deep, "that you're still very hungry and there's more you can eat." So over the course of this book, the snake eats more and more creatures. And the language in this book is totally incredible. There's so much great vocabulary and very silly animals that the snake eats. And eventually, the snake says, "I can't eat anymore." "No." "Oh, surely, very surely, Mr. Snake," said the boy. "There is room, still more room. So much more to enjoy." "Something small," said the boy. And eventually, the snake has a bug on top of an apple, which causes the snake to throw up all of the food, including the boy. Everybody rolls out. So this is a crowd pleaser, a silly story, but also an opportunity to talk about how the boy is problem solving and persevering through a very difficult situation of being inside of a snake's belly. You can also build math language into all of this, talking about how long the snake is, thinking of creatively around any book that you're choosing to read to your children can yield really great results when you're thinking about things intentionally, like perseverance. Another book I thought of was Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. We all have this in our libraries and classrooms, and although it's about ABCs, specifically lowercase letters, there's also the aspect of all of everybody ending up on the ground, but eventually at the end, A is back there trying to go back up that tree. A is out of bed, and this is what he said: "Dare, double dare, you can't catch me. I'll beat you to the top of the coconut tree. Chicka chicka boom boom." So there are moments in even our most common books that we don't think about as having anything to do with math, where we can talk about perseverance, we can talk about problem solving, we can talk about ways that math are a part of our everyday lives, and how fun it can be to work through the issues that face us, and that's part of being mathematicians. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a lot of fun talking about perseverance with your kids.